This stupid country could have prevented this war in Ukraine. All the United States had to do was to assure Putin that Ukraine would not be invited to join NATO, and he would not have gone crazy like he did. And people are saying, ha ha ha, are you really so naive as to think that Putin was just motivated by concerns about NATO encroachment? Well, duh. NATO was formed to protect Western countries from Soviet military aggressions, and after the Soviet Union disbanded in 1991, there was no more need for it to exist. But the United States smelled blood and not only wanted to preserve NATO, but also to expand it into former Soviet territories to further isolate and weaken Russia and ensure our hegemonic dominance. When Putin became president, he wanted to join NATO in order to establish a partnership with the United States and regain some stature on the world stage, but Clinton and his advisors said, "No way, Jose. We are now going to be the ruler of the world and spread capitalism throughout the globe, and you, Russia, can dry up like a raisin." And NATO kept pushing further and further into Eastern Europe, and Russia ended up surrounded by pro-Western countries with American missiles a couple hundred miles away. And Putin was getting more and more jittery about Ukraine, but the United States refused to promise him that Ukraine would not be invited to join NATO, and Putin was a nervous wreck and finally invaded Ukraine. And after our long history of unprovoked invasions of other countries, this country has the nerve to howl with moral outrage. And people are saying, well, maybe what we did in Iraq was just as bad as what Putin did, but that's irrelevant now. But it's not irrelevant at all. If our leaders acknowledge that our country's warlike behavior has been just as bad as Putin's, they might also refrain from comparing Putin to Hitler because they don't want to be compared to Hitler. They might accept that negotiation and diplomacy are the only paths to peace in Ukraine instead of trying to persuade everyone that giving Putin even one little concession will make Ukraine look like that poor fool Neville Chamberlain. It's ridiculous to think that Putin has any inclination to invade Poland and other NATO countries and start a nuclear war with the United States. But the greedy warmongers are doing everything they can to prolong this debacle. And believe me, they have a plan B when the shit hits the fan, and the rest of us are running around looking for basements to hide in. So please, guys, turn off your Fox News and your CNN and go online and learn the facts from the country's most astute observers and get a balanced view. Our lives depend on it.